Hello. This week, like many, I guess, across the country, I look at my income tax and I tried to bring all my papers scattered all over my house. I don't know if you're more organized than I am, but I'm fairly organized, but still I have to to look and try to get everything. And that's a topic also, the taxes on TV, because a lot of people have questioned. And what got my attention yesterday was this show on TV that was asking, do we pay too much taxes? And I was a bit, surprised. Well, not really surprised, but a bit baffled by that question because it's almost like asking, are you for or against family? Or do you think we should abolish apple pie? If you ask people, said, do you think you pay too much taxes? I don't know that many individuals that say, oh no, I want to pay more taxes. I want to write bigger checks. But the question for me is not if we pay too much taxes, it's do we have a good return on the taxes we pay? Because those taxes help to run the government we have municipal, provincial, federal, many different levels, many different services. And the question is, do we have a fair return on our investment? And that's the question because we have all heard politicians running for office saying, I will cut the taxes and there will be no diminution of services. And for me, it's always, well, how does it work? If there's less money coming in, how could it be the same amount of money going out? There's always, those scandals of abuse and things like that. And there's always a new savior coming and said, well, people promised this for 40 years, but I'm the one that will solve everything. But it never works, really. There's always abuse because we're dealing with human beings, and it's the same in the private sector. So governments are not different that much. So the question is, do we have the feeling that what we put in, we have a good return on our investment in a sense? The question some could ask is, do we have a taxation and government designed for the well-being of the wealthiest, the 1% of our society, or is it designed for everyone? And everyone receive some services. Everyone receive their fair share. They're paying their fair share. They receive their fair share. And those questions are not just from economics or philosophical. They're also theological. Because throughout the Old Testament, also in the New Testament, we have people, we call them the prophets, that often talking about protecting the poor, the widows, the orphans. And it's more than just pastoral care and caring for your neighbor. They are the most vulnerable people in our society, and they were people most vulnerable back then in their society. And the question is, how do we take care of all of them, of the vulnerable one? Is it like only the rich getting richer? Or is it we're kind of helping one another and making sure that no one falls through the crack and no one is abused and no one is the fraud and no one and everyone has something to eat at least every day. And this is, at least traditionally in Canada, a vision of what the government also do, helping the poorest among us, that we believe it's not a world of dogs eat dogs, but it's kind of redistribution of wealth somehow, and make sure that everybody has a fair chance, that make sure that at least if you get, when you start school, everybody kind of start in the same place and everybody has a chance that you have access to health, the health system, regardless of if you're on welfare or if you're a multimillionaire. That's the government. And that's where our taxes, our checks we sign are supposed to go. The next few months, there's going to be election. There's always election. Municipal election. There's an election in the province of Quebec right now. Province of Ontario, it started to look that there's going to be an election very soon. And federal election will come in about a year and a half or so. And there's always election. Will always be people that will claim that government is too big, we're paying too much. And maybe, yes, we ought to listen to them because we have to listen to everyone. But maybe the question I will invite you to consider and maybe ask candidate, regardless of their party, regardless of their affiliation, is will you make sure that the money we give is fairly used for the welfare of everyone? Take care of yourself. Don't forget to fill your income taxes forms. And I hope to see you very soon.